Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be going over information with regards to the new Faction Assault update and of course the rewards on top. We did kind of see quite a lot with the Faction Assault with the alphas and betas that came out in the last multiple weeks, but we didn't have any ideas what we were going to be working towards with the currency we were going to be getting in those attacks as a faction. And this is going to be obviously showing that stuff. But let's just go over the information. On your screen you can see this is going to be the end boss. This is going to be the 6th difficulty boss, which is going to be Governor. So you're going to be seeing this guy quite often. But let's just read over the information here. And it says, hello survivors, we wanted to announce the rewards plan for Mythic Faction Assault ahead of the new Grey Market release. Please keep an eye on our official Discord for more information about when this will go live, while we resolve some ongoing issues. Once resolved, players can activate and attempt Faction Assault to earn Assault Tokens. Assault Tokens can be found as Common Assault Tokens or Rare Assault Tokens. Common Assault Tokens can be found in all Faction Assault difficulty tiers. Rare Assault Tokens are available in Tier 5 and Tier 6. Quantities will increase as difficulty increases. Assault Tokens can be traded in the Faction Assault Grey Market for gear medals, a 5-star weapon, an exclusive gold mythic fighter, and more. Plus, players can expect some rewards like the random Paragon mod and other consumables to refresh every 30 days. Others, like the gold mythic fighter, weapon, and avatar, could be updated periodically. So this is going to be the avatar that's going to be available, and it is the Gov on his helicopter. This is actually sick. I'm just going to go out there and say it. If they're going to do another avatar, Negan in the tank. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. We've had the boss before, it makes a lot of sense. But we've got Gov in his helicopter. I like this quite a lot. We haven't had like a Governor avatar. I don't think we've had a Negan avatar. I could be wrong there, but that's kind of cool. This is going to be the unique weapon that you can get from this. And this weapon is actually really, really interesting. Arav's Savage Butcher's Carver is a fast weapon. 40% attack, a huge bonus to AP when attacking. Improved bonus attack, you get 45% attack when attacking enemies with more than 35% HP. The one you can craft is more than 50% HP, so it is going to obviously be quite a nice significant boost there. And then in that last slot, it has improved attack damage boost. Attack still 35% extra damage, and they ignore defense bonuses. This is going to be very interesting for any multi-hit characters out there because they're going to get bonuses from slot 3 and slot 4. Any defense buffs that are on a character, like 200% defense buff, doesn't matter. And it also doesn't count the defense buff on someone like Jesus because his is a passive defense buff. It isn't a stat defense buff. I believe I talked to Man on the Moon. He kind of confirmed that with me where it's like this. It actually bypasses stats. It doesn't bypass the stat boost like Andre, for instance. This won't bypass Andre, but it will bypass characters like Jesus who get big defense boosts based on certain scenarios occurring. So if you have a nice multi-hit fast character, they're going to do really nice damage for sure. I like this weapon quite a lot. Looks really interesting as well. And it's pretty easy to upgrade. 3 times 5%, you get a 55% attack. It's going to be nice. If we scroll down here, we can see Faction Assault Grey Market. This is where you're going to be able to get your gold mythic slasher beta. I did obviously preview this character. I didn't say anything about where you could get this character. There was a lot of theories where this character is going to pop up. The only thing I said was I was told it was accessible, and here it is. It's going to be the Faction Assault Grey Market character for initial release. It's going to be 35,000 common assault tokens per character. And just I'll probably do some like videos in terms of how long we can expect that to take. But from tests, I was getting a couple of thousand a day, I think, on the common ones. The common ones were the easy ones to come by. The rare ones were the harder ones to come by. And that's where you're going to see the Butcher's Cleaver is going to be rare assault tokens. But you only need to get 1 of these versus 5 of beta. So that's just something to note. Then we have the Assault Governor's avatar. It's actually going to cost more for the avatar than the Butcher's Cleaver. That's actually kind of interesting. These aren't going to refresh, but they may refresh in the future. They'll give you probably a heads up to say, hey, in the future we're going to remove these. Hopefully they give a reasonable amount of time. But this is they're just going to be in there at the beginning. But the ones that are going to refresh every 30 days are going to be a random Paragon mod for 2,500 rare assault tokens. So you could focus on the things that are going to refresh every 30 days, then come back to the ones that are going to stick around. Obviously, it's up to you what you want to do with your currency. You don't have to spend your currency the second you get it. You can hold onto it for like 20 days just to decide. Again, it's completely up to you. Then we have gear medals in here, where you can get 10 gear medals for 150 rare assault tokens, and that's the gold ones. Then we go to the common ones for silver, bronze, steel, and then we also have random silver mythic tokens. Again, a bit more accessibility to silvers. You can see there's 20 silvers in the store here, which is obviously great. There is going to be some info here when it comes to the changes. Faction Assault has been rebalanced in all 6 difficulties. 1 to 3 feature Negan, 4 to 6 feature Governor. This does mean if you're obviously going to be doing the harder bosses, you're primarily going to be focusing on Governor quite a lot. Players can now attempt to take out the Faction Assault bosses each day, and you don't need to acquire tickets to do this. You can just do it every single day, no problem at all. Faction Assault will reset daily with the regular server reset of 5 PM Pacific time. After reset, the previous day's Faction Assault rewards will be available to claim in the Faction Assault tier menu. Each day, a player is given 8 Faction Assault energy to make attacks. Additional energy can be purchased with coins. Energy will be reset with Faction Assault at server reset. It is also worth noting, just in case I don't mention it, your characters don't get exhausted anymore. They used to get exhausted in the old Faction Assault. We could only attack once with them in that day, and it was just frustrating. That doesn't seem to happen in this game mode anymore, which is nice. Faction Assault now unlocks for players who are level 2+. Those players in a faction can attempt the first tier of difficulty. Once you and your faction can clear the boss, the next difficulty will unlock, and then obviously you can do the next difficulty the next day, do that difficulty, so on and so forth until you unlock the 6th difficulty. So within a week, you'll be on the hardest difficulty if you are in a faction that can take out those bosses. Once a boss or mini-boss is defeated, they will go into infinite health. This will enable players who were later in the fight to be able to fight the boss and may have actually been already defeated. This was obviously a big issue in previous Faction Assault, where you're competing with your faction and then you're not going to be able to get the rewards. There's going to be infighting. If you want to see how this works, I did make like a little mini video in the alpha, which will give you a kind of insight into how the attacks work and basically how you're going to be able to score even after your teammates have destroyed a boss, and you're going to be able to get the rewards. If a player can do the minimum amount of damage required of the mini-boss or the boss, they will unlock the participation reward. This is around about 10 to 20% of the health of one of the stages. So like on the final boss, like Governor, I think you only have to, like in the alpha at least, and the beta, you only had to do about 500,000 damage. I don't think it was anything like too crazy. So it's actually not too crazy at all. Once the mini boss or boss has been defeated by a player or a faction mate, any member who has done the minimum damage will receive the participation reward and a boss defeat reward. This was actually something that I was asking Steve Domo, because he was in the alpha as well, because this was something I was wondering about, but there's confirmation. Once any mini boss is defeated, players can attack Negan or Governor. Players no longer must defeat all mini bosses to access the final boss. And this is really good because there are going to be some factions who will struggle with some of the allegiance restrictions, because each mini boss does have allegiance restrictions, which is here. Easier difficulties have minimal allegiance restrictions. Harder difficulties will require more specific allegiance fighters. To help with this, please see the changes made to some fighters and allegiances here. We've seen that before. Additional quality of life updates. We do have the unequip all button. Some of you might not have seen this already, but there is an unequip all button from characters. This is great for individual characters. I still hope that one day they will do an unequip all button from your entire roster. Just one button, all mods removed. That would save a lot of time. Then you also have the team swap feature, where you can swap your team. So you can create a defense or like an attack team in the 20th slot. You can click this little button that you see circled, and then you can move it all the way to the top. You know, you can make it your second or third team, and that's a priority team for you in war, so you don't want to have to scroll down too far. That's a great feature addition, and this is how it's going to work. You basically say where you want it to get moved to. This is obviously a really big update. And then there's some bug fixes, which I'll just quickly go over. Fix an issue filling part of the stamina bar on your territory battle results a screen that overlaps its border. Okay. Fix the raid log listing. Mythic character background, adjusted text to have outline strokes. So it seems like quite basic stuff in terms of visuals. Fix an issue where very quickly claiming a collection after leveling up a character to require a level that caused a reload. Fixed war results pop up not displaying the opponent avatar's mythic backgrounds. Fix an issue where the game reloads as soon as the player tries to trigger a mission event with 1 min inactive time. Fix an issue when user receives an error, tapping the go button. Fix an issue where players get stuck on the transfer in progress screen. In the avatar and support tutorial, fix a tutorial box. A faction of supporters. Fix an issue where the user could be prompted to save changes to a survival road team they selected to edit. Okay, so pretty basic there. And in the combat changes, fix an issue where revives over 50% wouldn't properly proc the spirit passive for medic role characters. This is interesting. That means that you're going to see characters when they're revived, they will start getting bonus HP now because it's obviously going to proc that passive. Fix an issue where 6-digit HP values didn't display properly on the HUD at the bottom of combat. Yeah, we're getting there. We get 6-digit HP values now, yeah. Fix an issue where damage over time reduction was affecting trauma damage. Okay, that's interesting. Made it more evident that some scrollable information panels are scrollable. No longer supporting Korean translation in-game. Okay, so I guess there's not a lot of Koreans playing the game at the moment. But that's it pretty much for the update. All the Faction Assault rewards and stuff. Things will, periodically be updated every 30 days. And in the section where it's got the likes of Slasher, Beta, the weapon, and the avatar will just be updated maybe I would say probably we'd be lucky with like every 4 to 6 months. So that's in my kind of like my hopes. 4 to 6 months for a new character and stuff like that. Once it's released, I will completely fully like calculate how long it would probably take to get all 5 copies of Beta, like I did with Tara in the OG version of Faction Assault. So that's it for the Faction Assault update. It should be going live, properly live, real soon. We are going to have the market popping up in game as well real soon. If you do want to check out Slasher Beta, who is the character, who is the reward, you can hopefully see an overlay right now, or in the top right hand corner there'll be like a little link, and that will give you a link to the actual content. He looks like a pretty good character that could even work in Faction Assault as well, as long as he's teamed up with the right character, because he has got like the infamous Lacerator, which always works very nicely in Faction Assault. But do give me your thoughts on Faction Assault in general, the rewards. What would you like to see in the future? What kind of avatar do you want to see after this Governor one? What kind of weapon do you want to see? Attacking ones are always nicer, in my opinion, for this sort of thing. What kind of character would you want to see come out in future Faction Assault updates? Let me know in the comments down below. But that is the end of my video. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.